So, are you learning how to drive right now? Well, these are some of the most annoying habits that people pick up when they're actually learning to drive, specifically from their own parents. Now, I've got some experience with this, to say the least. I will tell you more about that at the end of the video. But yeah, the long and short of it is that, when you do pass your test, you'll realize very quickly that you will never drive like that again. And what I mean by that is the way that you have to drive to pass the driving test in the UK is not the way that anybody drives in the real world. You have to drive like an absolute tool to pass that thing. But yeah, more on that at the end. I'll give a little bit more information on that at the end. But let's have a look at the 10 worst habits that learner drivers pick up according to this survey. Full article on themotoringchronicle.com. Only 13% of parents think they're a consistently good role model to their children when it comes to motoring skills, according to a new survey of over 2,000 parents. The research, which was conducted by the UK's largest pre-17 driving young drivers school, has prompted the organisation to launch a special driving lesson for parents who want to refresh their knowledge and make sure bad habits haven't slipped in. Parents are also welcome to sit in the back of their child's young driver lesson. Oh, that's pressure. I won't want that. Oh my days. I couldn't imagine my dad doing that. I love my dad, don't get me wrong, but that would be terrifying. To observe the teaching from the qualified driving instructors, with the scheme having delivered more than 1.4 million lessons to youngsters aged 10 to 17. You can get driving lessons when you're 10. 10? Bloody hell. I didn't know that. I thought you had to be 16 to even attempt to learn. I didn't realise you could do it as young as 10. Wow. Lance Peake is a team manager at Young Driver and has been a driving instructor for over 15 years. He explains, from a young age, children are observing their parents behind the wheel. Parents often realise they need to only be on their best driving behaviour when the child hits 17, but there's been many years before that where they're quietly been watching. Things like using the palm of your hand to control your steering wheel, being distracted by a phone, speeding, tailgating, they can all become normalised even on just the school run. The school run is a war zone, alright? It's dog eat dog out there. Honestly, you can't take any prisoners when it comes to the school run. As an instructor, spending half an hour with your parents on a young driver course and observing their driving technique can help us easily identify any potential problems. And it also naturally makes the parent more aware of any bad habits. But even if they sit in the back of a young driver lesson with their child, they'll pick up some great tips from the instructor and see more clearly how kids are being taught nowadays. You can start talking to your child about driving from a young age, explaining the gears and the pedals, and it can even be very helpful when they first get behind the wheel. But it's important to be demonstrating the right habits from them at an early age as well. Young Drivers surveyed 150 of the driving instructors who work within the scheme and asked them about the worst habits learners pick up from their parents. So in reverse order. So number 10 is believing myths or out-of-date driving styles. Number 9 is impatience/aggression. Number 8, riding the clutch. Hey, I do that. I will hold my hands up to that. I do that a lot. Mainly because the roads around here are pretty terrible and there's a lot of up and down hills. So I feel like it's necessary at times, but there we go. Not creeping and peeping. Creeping and peeping. Don't creep and peep, guys. When exiting a junction, that's number 7. Number 6 is coming down through the individual gears instead of block changing. Ugh, so what? So what? Number 5 is speeding. Number 4 is coasting. Hey, coasting's good when you do it right, like down a hill or something like that. That saves you petrol. There's nothing wrong with coasting. Not having that. That's a good habit, guys. My unprofessional, unlicensed opinion, even though I do have a driver's license, but unprofessional, unlicensed opinion on that one. Coasting can be good when you do it right. Not observing what is happening around them, number 3. I mean, is that really a habit? That's just not being very good. You know what I mean? There's a difference there. Number 2 is steering with one hand or crossing hands. Neither will fail your test as a one-off, but it isn't the best practice to do them regularly as you have less control. Yeah, true. I mean, you just kind of get that through experience, though. You get better with that. And number 1 is not following mirror signal maneuver as a matter of course. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, yeah, if you're doing a stop junction or whatever, but again, in the real world, you don't do that as much. You just don't. Come on. When you know the roads around you and you're just chilling and, there's no cars around you, come on. But anyway, a normal 30 or 60 minute lesson can be booked on that website, adding into the notes section that this will be for a parent refresh lesson. Alternatively, it can be booked by that phone number on there. One adult is welcome to sit in the back of a standard young driver lesson when attending with a young person. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, I mean, I've made my opinions on that pretty clear. I mean, the thing is, right, at the end of the day, there's no harm in it if you want to do it, but something that will have changed from your parents' generation to now is the cost of a driving lesson. I mean, how much is that driving lesson going to be? I mean, when I passed my driving test, it was 25 quid an hour. Now I'm hearing stories about people paying well over £30 an hour to actually learn how to drive, which, you know, it must have cost me at least £1,000 to learn how to drive, probably more actually. It's expensive, and then you got to get your car as well. The insurance is it's gonna be an absolute fortune because you're a new driver. It's tough, man. Learning how to drive is tough, and I've said it so many times. The public transport in this country is absolutely abysmal, right? It's diabolically bad for the most part, unless you live in London, that's it. Everywhere else in the UK, you need a car to survive. You can't survive without a car and be an adult nowadays. You can if you're a student, that's a bit different, but in the real world, once you leave uni, once you leave school, once you start work, you need a car. You just do. So yeah, so those are the bad habits, guys. If you're doing those bad habits, you're very naughty, apparently. But honestly, again, most people in the real world, they do it all the time, and it's fine for the most part, I'll be honest. But that's just my unprofessional opinion, guys. What do you guys think? What's your worst driving habit? Apparently 1 in 6 drivers in the UK think they're terrible. That's another video I did a while ago, and I'll always use that stat. Are you a terrible driver? Let us know in the comments below. And we'll see you very soon for some more motoring news and analysis here on themotoringchronicle.com. Have a good one, guys.